Hey, today I'm going to teach you how, or show you how to paint an oversized cherry, just for an example. This is going to be the finished cherry, and I'm going to teach you from the very start. Okay, we're going to start by taking a little bit of burnt umber and boxing our design in, and you just want a cherry shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. We'll fix it again later. And in fact, we'll fix the stem later. I'm just going to put it in just because I want to. I'm going to take some, I've mixed some green with cad yellow light and alizarin crimson, cad yellow light and ultramarine blue. And I've made a dark green. I'm going to add the red to that because I want the dark side of my cherry in. And we're just going to kind of put a hint on the left hand side, and we're going to leave that right there. Now I'm going to put straight, pretty straight, alizarin crimson right here. This is going to be pretty fast painting probably. Oops, I just used all my alizarin, wouldn't you know. We're going to box that in right there. Nice shape. That's what I was going for. I actually want to come in with more green, which is, of course, red's complement color, and put a little dark area right there for the top where my stem is going to come into the painting. You want to clean your brush in between. I use Sansador for my cleaner. This is oil paint, and because it is very, very low odor. I keep 2 jars. 1 jar for my dirtiest, and then whenever I want a really clean color, I re-clean my brush. I clean in the dirty first, then I re-clean my brush into the clean jar. Now I'm going to take, I took a little bit of cad yellow light and mixed with some cad red light and a little tiny bit of alizarin just to make a little lighter color. We're going to come in right there and put a few streaks, just indicators. We don't care if it's kind of left. We're going to put a little area in the bottom left. That is our reflective highlight, which I like. There we go. A little bitty highlight right there on the right hand side. And then we're going to start making, I want more cad red light and cad yellow light. It's going to make a light orangey red. We're going to put some there and just kind of leave it. There we go. See that? Now we're going to get even more cad yellow with just a touch of cad red. We're making a yellowish orange. We're going to put that because we're building up highlights is what we're doing. And this is Alla Prima, and so that's the way we're going to paint this whole thing in one setting. There's that. I'm pretty happy with that right there. We're going to take some more cad yellow with just a touch of cad red. Make some bright highlights right there. I see that I went off of that right here. I don't care. I do, on my paintings, I do build up bold, thick paint, and that's just my style, so I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to clean my brush again, and we're going to start putting in my background color. What I like to do is put my shadow in. That is going to be some alizarin with a touch of cad yellow light and ultramarine, and you want it more toward the ultramarine side. We are going to make a bluish shadow. We're just going to make it really dark and leave it alone, just like that. The way that I paint is I like to make definitive brush strokes and just leave them. I don't blend that much. I kind of just paint on top of each other. I always had trouble with color and with background colors. And what I learned is, and I learned this from listening to Carol Marine, she's a wonderful artist, and she mixes gray by mixing pretty much equal parts of a blue, a red, and a yellow, and that works wonderfully because it gives you the complements of the colors that I am already working with, and it just makes my painting kind of flow. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm not going to show that on the video, but I'm going to mix ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, cad yellow light. I'm going to use just a touch less of the cad yellow so that I come up with a bluish, purplish mixture. Alright, I'm back. We're mixing white in. I always use I use zinc white. I like Kremitz white. I probably said that wrong, but those are mixing whites. I'm going to come in with, it's a grayish, just a grayish color. I'm going to go right in up to some white. I'm going to go right in up to my cherry. I know this kind of resembles an apple, but I don't care. I just made it way oversized. There's my, dipping into my thinner. I'm going to come in with color all around. And this is kind of a mid-tone gray. I touched into my cherry. That's okay. I do, again, leave my paint kind of thick. I'm going to come all the way. I'm just going to come right by my shadow, not into it yet, and we'll fix that in a few minutes. I want to get my whole board covered. This is actually a pretty gray. I end up having a different color every time, and I like it because it gives me a lot of variety, but yet even when you use those same colors, you will come up with colors that lean toward gray, lavender, reddish even, or yellowish if you add more of that. I'm kind of letting that just do whatever it wants to do right there. Same colors though, it's just, we're just covered, well, I just wanted to get this board covered. That's it. I use long, deliberate strokes. I used to use, when I first started painting, I remember I would see people that had cross strokes, and I would try to mimic that, and my painting would look like a bunch of X's. I don't do that anymore. I do long, deliberate strokes, and I just want something that's kind of random, that's going to give me a sense of some kind of texture or movement in my painting. Alright, now that our background is done, I'm going to mix into, I think I'll just use a little bit of that same mixture with some white. I'm going to come over my shadow just to blend those edges some, but you're still going to have the illusion or the sense of a shadow when I get through. There you go. Even back up into that background. We're going to kind of even that, smooth that edge. You do want to, one of the main things of painting, and I had very much trouble with when I first started, I can remember I had no idea about hard edges and soft edges, and so I would paint a painting and it would look nice, and I couldn't figure out why it looked like it was just cut out and placed on there, and that was because I had not softened any edges. This, I'm going to soften this edge of this shadow. Your shadow is going to be lighter as it goes away from your object, and it's going to be darker as it touches your object. I'm going to go back in and add a little dark right here, just kind of going into that apple. And I'm going to kind of leave that. Okay. Now, I'll go back in this background again, but I have, this is called a, I don't know if you can see it. It's called a paint eraser. And it's just kind of got some kind of rubber on both ends, if you can see that. This is what, if I'm painting a large painting, I've got to where I sign my name with that. Sometimes it really takes the paint off, but we're going to use it to take this stem off. I want to make my stem a little curved and come down into that dark area. I'm going to leave that right there because we're going to go back and fill that in with paint. But it just, since we're painting ala prima, it just keeps that from all mixing together and lets you have a nice crisp line. We'll come back and deal with that in a few minutes. I'm going to go back in with just some white on my brush, and we're going to lighten some of this up. Long, deliberate strokes again. And what I like to do is take some light and do right at the edge of that cherry. Not all the way around, just in little glimpsed areas. And also on this other side where my shadow is hitting, I want some real light right there. That's going to give the illusion that that light is hitting this cherry and bouncing through onto that other side. You just want it right there. And then we're still going to keep that shadow edge right there soft. Let's see. I I need my liner brush, which I can't find, of course. Alright, now I'm going to come in with this dark again, and I'm going to, yeah, I think I'll use that dark. I'm going to make the form of my cherry stem. I'm going to try to follow that line that I just made with that highlighter. If you get out of line a little bit, it won't really matter that much, because we're going to come back in with a palette knife and add some colors and make that brighter. I'm going to take some dark phthalo blue is what I'm going to use right here, and I don't know why, I just want to. I'm going to put a little bitty bit of on that end of that cherry stem, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to dip into a little bit of white and some Indian yellow, and I'm going to put a little highlight right there on the end of that stem and just kind of give it a tiny bit of color, and you'll see we're going to come back in and add a lot of color to that stem in just a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put another touch right there. Yeah, and we're just going to leave that for a second. We're almost done, actually. Pretty quick. Pretty quick little demo. Alright, now I'm pretty happy with that. I'm still going to come back in with a little more light right in here. I'm just going to kind of glob that paint on and leave it. And I'm going to glob a little right there and right there. And if you like more precise, you can do whatever how you want, but this is how I do it. I was just, for the month of August, featured on Contemporary Artists International's website. I was interviewed in one of their feature artists. I was so honored about that. And I'm just fixing to start teaching classes at Alabama Art Supply in Birmingham, Alabama. So, I would love to have anyone who's interested. Just a little white. I just want to make some highlight right there bouncing. You'll see we're fixing to fix that dead looking stem. Alright, that's painted. I'm through with that, except for, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I left some pretty long lines. I want to break those up just a little, not much, just a little. Just so I don't have anything that when you look at it, you're like, ah, that's a line. There. Alright, now, I'm going to come back in again with some cad yellow light with just a touch of cad red, and we're going to smear that on right here because I want some light. There you go. And I like that pretty good, just like I have it. I'm going to put a little bit right down there for my reflective light right there. And then I'm going to take some pure mixing white, zinc white, Cremex white. I think this is zinc that I've got right now because I'm out of the other. I'm going to put just a tiny, tiny bit of half of a highlight right there and leave it. I'm going to put a dab right there. A little bit more right there. I'm leaving that. Now, we're going to go back into this cad yellow light. I'm going to mix it with some of that green mixture that I made out of cad yellow and ultramarine, just to make that cad yellow a little touch greener. We're going to come in with this palette knife and just drag lightly across this stem because we want some of that dark color to still show through, but still have that. There's that. I'm going to take some white and mix with this cad yellow light just a little bit with the pure cad, and I'm going to put a couple of little highlight glitz, and that's a little thicker than I wanted, but that's okay. Now I'm going to take pure white, pure zinc, or whatever you're using. I don't use titanium because I find after years, fix that out. You can always come back in, which is what I'm going to do. You come back in with your brush and kind of drag some of that out if you get too much. Because it's kind of hard to control when it's on such a little area. There we go. Now I'm going to come back in with just a little cad yellow and a cad red because I want to make this more rounded. There we go. And I think I'm going to put just a dab of light right here. This is just to show reflective on the table. And I will kind of, let's clean my brush. Clean my brush. I'm going to clean it pretty good because I want to work into that gray. I'm going to clean my brush pretty good. I'm going to come in and smooth some of these edges of that right there because I want to leave, see that? I want to leave some of that, but I want it to look like a reflection, not not just a glob that I painted on the table. I think I will put a little alizarin right there, just because I want to. Like I said, I'm a self-taught artist. I started out years ago. I started my blog in 2009, and I didn't really realize how bad I was until I went back and looked at some of those. And that website is angelasacrylics.blogspot.com. My website also is asullivanart.com. I hope you'll visit me. We're pretty much through with this, except for a critical area, and that's that I have not softened any edges yet on that, except for in the shadowing. So we're going to go in and soften some edges, and you just run your brush right across. If you get some red into your background, it doesn't matter. Just leave it, because this is a painting. We're going to soften this hard edge back there, and that will make that kind of recede into the background. And see, I kind of just came off of that cherry and just add back whatever you need to do to make that happen. The main thing is to end up with soft edges. We're going to do it right there. Alright, I think we're going to leave these because they're closer to the front. I think I'm just going to leave that right there. There you go. And last but not least, here is that tool I showed you. It's called a paint eraser. It has a little sharp edge. It has a little, I don't know if you can see it good. It has a little sharp chiseled edge on one side, and I'm going to use that. And let's sign our name. I sign mine A. Sullivan. That's another thing you need to do. You need to develop you a signature and pretty much try to stick with that. Whether it's initials or an actual signature is up to your individual preference, but you do need to have the same one consistently. Alright. There you go. That's your video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I do plan on doing some more in the future. I hope that if you did enjoy it, you'll leave a comment. And we'll see you next time. For now, this is Angela Sullivan, and I love to paint.